Alright, welcome back, y'all. Aversal here. Back with the sixth video. This one's going to be a little bit shorter, but we're still going to do the recap because this project is a little short. Like, there's not really a lot we can do right now, but I designed like a short little game that's pretty cool, and it just combines everything we've done up until this point. But of course, first we're going to recap. We talked about conditional statements, we talked about if statements, we talked about else statements, and we talked about else if statements. Then we covered some operators. So we covered greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, and you use two equal signs when you're defining a if statement. And then we just talked basically about conditions. And honestly, that's all basically for the recap. Like, once again, conditional statements are not that difficult to understand. They are just there to control the flow of your code, like what gets run and what doesn't. So if a certain condition is met, then do this. If it's not, we can say else if or we can say else. Else is kind of like the final option. If nothing works, then we're going to do this. Else if means, okay, well, the first thing didn't work. Now let's see if this works. If that doesn't work, let's do another else if. So we can do as many else ifs that we want. But remember, you don't have to include else if and you don't have to include else. It just depends on what you're doing and what you want. Yeah, but basically that was the recap. Once again, like this is gonna be a pretty short video, so this one's gonna be a little more lax. Um, I think you guys will like this a little bit more because it's not as difficult. um, but yeah, let's just get straight into it. So we're gonna make our little mini game here. So we're gonna insert a part first, and we're just gonna do that. And then we're gonna right click. We're gonna insert object. We're gonna go to script, and we're just gonna erase all this stuff. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define our part. So local part 1 equals, so there's actually a special word we can use to define workspace without using game, and it's just lowercase w workspace. And this is special because it applies specifically to the workspace. And the reason Roblox added this is because, well, we're going to be using the workspace a lot. So Roblox was like, okay, well, I'll just give you a shorthand way to refer to game.workspace. So workspace is basically game.workspace. This right here is basically the same thing as saying game.workspace, except it has a capital W because it's defining the service through the game. But this little shorthand way is workspace with a lowercase w. That's how we can just define it in more of a I want to save some time way. Okay, so it's the same thing. So workspace. So we're in the workspace. So dot part. All right, so we find our part. So now I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I want to change the brick color of this part. So we're going to do local function change color. And we're not going to add any parameters, but we're going to define a variable called random color. And you're probably thinking, wait, we have not covered how to choose something random. And I'm going to show you how to choose a random brick color. Okay, there is a way you can choose a random brick color. And you do that by doing brick color dot random. So when you choose brick color dot new, that means in here you put the argument, which is the brick color that you want. But brick color dot random, you don't have to pass an argument because it chooses a random brick color. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to print the random color. Sorry, the random color. And then we're going to return random color. So when we call this function, it's going to give us whatever this random color is, which is just brickColor.random. So let's go down and, sorry, we're not going to call the function right away. Actually, we're going to do part1 dot brickColor is equal to, and then we're going to call a function. So here's why this works. Remember how I said when you call a function and you're returning, that means this is what it's going to give you when you call the function. So here's what the code is thinking. Okay, we're going to call this function, so let's go. So we define this variable, okay, sure. It wants us to print whatever random color is, okay. And then we want to return random color, which means that's what we want this call to give us. And remember, this random color isn't a parameter. It's actually defined as a random brick color. And this brick color dot random gives us an actual random brick color. This isn't just a placeholder. This is an actual color. And it chooses the color at random every time you run the game. Then we're going to return whatever that brick color is, and it's going to return a string. So you're basically returning a string, which is brick color dot random. Then we're going to say that part1.brickColor equals change color. And what that does, it means when we call it, it's going to give us that string. And in this case, random color is just brickColor.random. So you're basically saying part1.brickColor equals brickColor.random. And it's also going to print whatever that color is so we know what it is. We'll see it in the output. So let's go ahead and run. And let's just see what the output gives for us. So we'll see that the color is cool yellow, and you'll see that it is indeed cool yellow. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a conditional statement. We're going to say if part1 dot brick color is not equal to brick color dot new, and let's say really red, then we're going to print, well, the part's brick color is not, and then we did really red, so we're going to do RR. So let's change that. And then I do dot 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 to indicate that we're going to change it. So let's change it below this line. So let's say part1 dot brick color is equal to change color. Then we're going to print part1 dot brick color. Then we're going to say, okay, well, if it is actually equal to really red, because here we're saying if the part color is not equal to really red, then we're going to do all this. But let's say it is in fact really red. Then we're going to print, wow, the color is really red. So what are the chances that our color is actually really red? Well, it's really low. So let's run. And we'll see that it should give us 2. Okay, sorry. Actually, when you call change color, it also prints the color. So that's why we got pinecone twice. So you don't actually have to print it here. So let's go ahead and run this. And it should give us, well, it's going to get the first time, terracotta. Then we're going through that if statement, and it says parts color is not really red. Let's change that. So it changed it to dark orange this time. So terracotta was not really red, so it said, okay, well, it's not. So let's go to the else statement and let's do dark orange. Or sorry, let's go through with this block here, because we don't do else unless the color actually is really red. And just to prove that, let's go ahead and do part1 dot brick color is equal to brick color dot new really red. And then if we run, you'll see, wow, the color is really red. And the only reason we see plum is because we called the function above here. Then we redefine the brick color before the conditional statement so that the conditional statement would still be met. So you see that it only says, wow, the color is really red, and it doesn't run any of this. It only runs the else statement because part1.brickColor is equal to really red, and therefore this condition is not true. Because this says that part1.brickColor is not equal to really red. Then we'll run this. But if it is equal to really red, then we're going to do this else statement. So I thought for this episode I'd just introduce this brickColor.random function. It's pretty cool, it's pretty useful. And eventually we will be using this function to create a dance floor, because you notice how dance floors are always changing colors. If you look at them, I'm going to show you how to use this to do that once we learn about something called a while loop. But either way, that about wraps up today's lesson, game, project, whatever. A little bit of a short episode, but I hope that was fun for you guys. Go try do some interesting stuff. Let me know what you've done with what you've learned in the past 5 episodes. But either way, that about wraps it up for this episode. And until next time, I will catch you guys later. Peace.